me being at this wedding, you asked me any positive vibes or anyone, chiming in about the Leafs. And I'm telling you, when they come up, it's generally negative right now. And that shouldn't surprise anybody. Look how they went out. It's what have you done for me lately? They were up 3-1 and choked away a series against the Habs. And didn't have an overly active offseason, which doesn't mean it's a bad offseason, but it's not as if they signed some superstar. They just kind of went about their business and plugged in a couple of pieces. And I think Jonas was tweeting this out, Kristen, and others, that Michael Bunting was on a line with John Tavares today in informal skates. So make of that whichever you will. But Ilya Mikheyev apparently wanted out. That report came out over the weekend.
How does that guy actually want? Like, he is a 10-goal scorer at best. He gets more chances than basically Austin Matthews. He couldn't score if his life depended on it. He's a 10-goal scorer. What the hell is he looking for? I thought when he was in the lineup, he played a lot. Is there something I'm missing there? What does he want to be on the power play? I don't get that.
Well, here's what I would say about this opportunity this year. If he can't play himself up the lineup, that's on him. Hyman's not here anymore. Foligno isn't here post-deadline.
Yeah, go ahead.
Play yourself up the lineup, right? Exactly? Who are you knocking out? You weren't knocking out Zach Hyman last year. Post-deadline, you weren't going to knock out Foligno. You were a third-line guy. They played you a lot. You killed a lot of penalties. You couldn't score. You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn on a breakaway.
Unbelievable talent, like his physical talent. And as Ray described, and it's a fascinating description of like the independent type contractor where it's like not a lot of playmaking. He just zooms down the ice. He takes it to the net. And if it goes in, it goes in. But it's I don't really understand that. Sometimes if you look at a guy and say, man, that guy really deserves an opportunity to play, he never gets played, maybe go somewhere else. But this guy, I don't get that.
Well, I never saw that with him. I'm with you. I never got the impression like he was being cheated. I think he was appropriately
when he put
placed.
his jersey on, you're like, that guy's always on the ice. He never scores, but he's always on the ice. He's always out there. He kills penalties. He's out there. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But there are some, and you can go talk to any general manager in the league, and this isn't just hockey, but cryptically they'll say like some guys just in their mind they value themselves a lot different than.
Sure, but what does he think, Jamie? He's going to go to the Calgary Flames to score 30 goals or somewhere else?
I don't know. I think he's, which, to your guys' point, the left side is very weak. Or unknown. Let's say unknown.
There's opportunity there.
He can score 30 here if he wants to. I don't know if he could. I don't know if he can put the net.
I don't think he's capable of that
30
right
goal.
now.
But he'll get a chance to.
That's all he needs. Like, he actually should be, if anything, he should be excited because he's like, Hyman's gone, Foligno's gone. Yeah, it's Bunting, Richie, Robertson, and me. Like, that's it. You're going to get a lot of ice time. Worst case scenario, you're the third left wing on the third line.
Which is what he was last year, and that was appropriately slotted. I think the way he plays and the complete lack of offense that he drives, I think it might be ideal if he's on the fourth line. But maybe Keefe and he don't see eye to eye. I don't know. Maybe there's something deeper there. Who knows what the reasoning might be. I find it interesting that the Leafs basically just said thanks, but no thanks. Like, this is a front office that tries to cater to the players and tries to make everyone feel good and feel welcome. And Mikheyev, reportedly wants out. And they're like, that's just not going to happen, nor should it. There's no reason for him to strong-arm anything. And there's no reason to believe he's not going to show up at camp and play and perform.
I think he can get 20 goals playing in the as a top six role by osmosis. Go to the net, use your speed, stick on the ice. You've got talented players that'll hit that stick and put it in the net. Like, that's, Zach Hyman has evolved as a player. In front of our eyes, the last 3 or 4 years, he evolved as a player because he settled in on that line and was like, I know exactly what I need to do to have success to help these guys out. If Mikheyev is smart and he gets an opportunity in the top six, he sits down with Tavares and Nylander and goes, this is what what do you need me to do? I'll be here. I'll go get the puck or whatever. Like, he can have favorable stats if he settles in a top six role and is smart about it. Doesn't don't overhandle the puck, doesn't dangle. You got to realize where your role and where your lane is within that top six. And he's going to get an opportunity.
It's a good point, though, in terms of the other four guys in that grouping, Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander. In reality, they don't expect anyone on the left side to compete with that talent and to compete with that competition.
Right.
And that production. So you're looking through you're building your lineup differently based on that. Like, that's why Hyman fits so well. Hyman did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
And he went up and down the boards and in front of the net and hit everything in sight and worked hard and chipped in. And then all of a sudden he's got 20 goals,
right.
20 plus. That's what they want. They don't want a guy who thinks he's going to be an all-star, because I don't think they feel like that can blossom in a role like that.
They need a
You're
role player
always
on
going to
that
be
line.
deferring.
Right. They need a role player on that line who goes and identifies his role and says, I'll go get the puck. I'll absorb contact to make the play. Whatever's needed, because everyone else in those groupings are defined. Realistically, both, Tavares and Nylander, they found what makes them work. They're talented guys. Tavares has got a really good shot. Nylander's got a good shot. He's dipsy doodle. Same thing. Marner's a great passer. Matthews. You need role players to play with those guys that have chemistry. That's why it was so important with Hyman. They got to find somebody to settle in with those guys. Same thing with Tavares and Nylander. You got to find, and we haven't even talked about Tavares being back now, right? As
far as we know, he's 100%. He's healthy, and it's all good. I mean, there's no reason to believe that he's not. But yes, in terms of what have you done for me lately, the last time we saw him, it was a gruesome injury, a really scary scene.
Wasn't good. Exactly.
No. But, camp is still about a week away, so we won't hear from them until then. But I'm gathering the boys are in town. Austin Matthews, he posted a picture. He's got a cast on his wrist. So he'll be working out. He'll be skating, riding the bike, doing all that. But he's not shooting. He's not passing for another, I would think, week or so anyway. So we'll see what happens with Matthews once he gets into town. But it's getting close. The hockey season is right around the corner.
And I get Hayes what happened. I understand what happened, and it was doom and gloom last year. I just don't understand how there's just not a general excitement about hockey being back, Maple Leafs. If you're just throwing in the towel before it even starts, and I guess I'm just getting maybe soft and old, but I
don't think it's about that, though. I don't think it's throwing in the towel or not watching or not looking forward to it. It's there's been a lot of scars here. There's
sure there is.
They choked away at they don't. Why would anyone be rallying for them right now? I think it's the team needs to rally, and then everyone will be on board with that.
Yeah. Well, the players can decide if they can go out there and have a good start and get people back on board again. I guess that's all that's left to happen.
Exactly, and it will. That will happen. We know the way this town works. We know the way the fan base works. They run off 5 in a row to start the year, and everyone's dancing. Everyone will be happy and jacked up and fired up again. And that's the reality. But I don't think you can expect that out of people today. Why would you? Why would you be loving what you've been seeing here? It'd be crazy to be an eternal optimist with this team when you consider what's been happening, you know, and how many times they've failed in the playoffs, the biggest moments.
Right. I think the word is believe, because you could I've talked to many Leaf fans. I'm like, they could have a good start. Well, I don't believe, what they're selling. It's like, hey, they could do all this. Hey, you got to show me. I think they have to have a good regular season, but they also just have to come together as a group. This is going to be a different, I know every year you have the same core, which is the core that they're all in on, just fine because they're a very good core. But it's a new group. So the new group is going to have a different look. And it's not like Spezza and Simmons. It's like, what's Nick Ritchie going to bring to the table? Because he's a different type of player than they've really had right from day one, right? All last year, the excitement was Thornton. Where's Thornton going to fit in?
Right.
He never fit in. To be honest, they tried, looking back at what the Leafs did with Joe Thornton, he started on the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, healthy scratch, and they couldn't, second power play, they couldn't find a spot for him, which was tough. Now you got to find that whole left side again with Hyman gone, and we talked about it. Where are guys going to settle in? What is Andre Kase? How many people have watched Andre Kase play a lot? No,
yeah, he's been on the West Coast. If he can stay healthy, he's a good player. I mean, he's had real concussion issues, and I think that's the concern is that he's got to stay healthy and be available to you. But to your point, Noodles, like when he's played, he's put up pretty good numbers, and he's got a good reputation around the league.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of people who believe he's a good player. So, we'll see. Once they get rocking again, people will be excited for the season and hockey to be back. I think it's two separate conversations. It's, excited for the season, excited for this, that, or the other, but also, people feel like they've been robbed by this team. And they're like, well, I'm not going to go out of my way to be so happy that you're back in town. It's like, oh, my ex is back in town, and I still have feelings for them, but I'm going to pretend like I didn't see them walk into the bar. That's what it is. At least the first day of camp will be, oh, really? I didn't even know she was here. Yeah, you did. You've been tracking her Instagram stories all night. You knew exactly where she was going, and you knew she was walking in that door. And that's what's cooking. And that's what's going to be happening come day one of camp, day one of the season.